Today it's Monday, November 6, 2023, 2JZ. I received the cylinder head, I received also the crank, but the crank I sent it back again, okay? Because to me, like I said earlier, it does look like it's been polished. It looks like that. BS what it is. Cylinder head here. I brought another engine stand inside. What I'm planning to do here. I'm gonna use the old crankshaft main bearings, the old crankshaft over there, because the other one I sent it, okay? Camshafts, the engine block on the stand, like I said. I found 50 weight oil finally, and my friend, he brought to me, the owner of the engine, and 2 envelopes of ARP assembly grease lubricant. This is gonna be more than enough for the head studs and the crankshaft bearing cap bolts down, the studs for the crankshaft down. Now, what can I do at the same time? I can get a measurement from the crankshaft bearing caps down from the main, and I can degree the camshafts. I haven't touched, please note that I haven't touched the cam gears. I haven't loosed the nuts, the bolts, sorry. This is how they set it up, okay? I know the center line, and here I have the old head gasket that I wash it. I clean it, I wash it. There is no, it doesn't have the firing. I leave it out. But this is exactly the same head gasket like the new one, and the same thickness. It's been crushed, obviously, all right? It's been washed to be nice and clean, and because I don't want to create any mark here, we're gonna set the new fire rings. For now, for the height, I'm gonna use this one. It's gonna be fine. You're not gonna have any problem. That's the target for today. Ideal is gonna be to have the crankshaft, the one that we're gonna install, to don't do it twice, to don't open and close. One of the reasons is I have only the 2 envelopes for the grease. Yeah, dang it, I don't have the torque specs for the studs down, for the mains. Dang it. Yeah, let me send a message now to ask my friend how much should be. I know for the L19, I know for the head studs, I don't know for the main down. Yeah. By the way, these are the new valves. I'm not gonna change only 2, I'm gonna change all of them. Why? What's the reason? Because they have different volume here. At this point here, it's different than the old one. All right, so I'm gonna change everything. But what I wanna say, I want to say, I'm not gonna use the number 11 and number 12 on the same position. I'm gonna get 2 healthy valves. I'm gonna get, let us say, the 3 and the 4 or whatever. I just want to see how much clearance has. I'm very curious to see the pocket valve, the lifter up, follower, cam follower, okay? What clearance has. And I'm very curious to read the lobes of the camshaft on the number 6 cylinder. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to move on, because imagine to close everything and then bend again 2 valves. Yeah, it's not good, right? Nope, it's not. So that's the target. Let me send a message regarding the mains, the stats for the mains, how much supposed to be, the torque specs. Meanwhile, the M157 is down here. I know it's different video. The Raptor cylinder heads, one it's here, one's there. Need to go to the machine shop. The cam adjuster already opened it, already prepared it. It's beautiful, doesn't have any problem. I have to wrap it, and I have to wrap also this one because I put assembly oil. And it's not nice to be outside. No, it's not. A box to put the valves. Yeah, but like I said, this is for the Raptor. That's the M157. This is the 2JZ, and I have to start working on the 2JZ now. Moving on. Engine block on engine stand, uncovered. Looks the same how I left it. Then, the old crank main bearings, the old connector bearings. I already put the number on it. the third down, and is just an example, third upper. All right, the old crank. Take a look, somebody polished the crankshaft. This maybe they did wireless, the machine shop who polished the other crank. Maybe they resurface, they polish also this crank. Take a look. I mean, if I send them this crank, what are they gonna say? That they polish it? Yeah, anyhow, never mind. I'm busy. The bearing caps here, block here, crank, like I said here. Let's make it upside down, mount the crankshaft, and move on. These connectors, I have it over there. Oil pump, the old oil pump in place, the old gear in place, the old crankshaft in place, number 1 piston and number 6 in place, okay, with oil control ring only. Fine. The old head gasket without the fire rings, that I'm not gonna be able to torque it down full because I'm gonna destroy the gasket. I'm gonna give something like 50 Newton meters, it's gonna be more than enough. I'm gonna like to do all these things with what? I'm gonna like to do it, let us say, with a new crankshaft, to check also the clearance, to assemble it, to finish it, to put it once. Same thing also with a new oil pump. I will gonna like to put a new oil pump. I will gonna like to put the new billet crankshaft gear here, and to don't do it twice. Okay, but yeah, fucked up. Then another thing, I don't have springs for the valves. I have only 2, and I don't have extra. Before I had plenty. Now I have only 2. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put only 1 intake valve here on the 6 and 1 on the number 1. 1 and 1. That's why you're gonna see 1 and 1, and you're not gonna see exhaust. But I have to put the exhaust camshaft on, not this on this M157, because I don't have more springs. Lovely. What I have done for now, on the number 6 cylinder, I have the A valve intake. I get the pocket from the 6A, but the valve that I'm using, it's the number 9. That means it's the A from the 5th cylinder. That means it's corresponding to this one, the 5A intake. On the number 1, I have the B. I get number 1 intake B, this one, and the correct valve where it's supposed to be. All right, with a dummy spring. All right. Same thing here on the number 6. For now, I'm gonna check the intake. I have to mount everything. I wish to have springs. I don't have springs. That's the thing. Lovely, lovely. It's gonna be nice if I can put. Yeah, it is what it is. Screw it. Put it on. I broke the half-inch socket trying to open the M156, right? And now I get a new one that's a little bit more thick and doesn't come in. Yeah, need to send it at the machine shop to remove 0.5 millimeter from here. Lovely, amazing. Perfect. Top dead center, 0. You have to come here to see 0. Yeah, no, I didn't make it sharp. All right. Now, going 20 degrees. Just a second now with one hand. 20 degrees. I'm at 3.2 millimeters. Not exactly 20. Okay. And then let's go backwards. 20 degrees, 3.2 millimeters. So my dead center, my top dead center, it's right there. Just a second. Yeah, I have 2000 millimeter. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's good enough. After spending a couple of time with the 2JZ here, that's the number 6 cylinder. I have put the camera from the exhaust port here. That's the intake valve. I'm 10 degrees after top dead center while it's opening, all right? And there is plenty of room. I mean, there is plenty of room. To touch the piston. Same thing also the number 1 cylinder. Now, I found some difference. Cylinder number 1 intake valve opens at 1 millimeter lift 7.5 degrees before top dead center, okay? And closes 1 millimeter before it closes the valve at 57.5 degrees after bottom dead center, okay? The center line, it's at 114 degrees after top dead center. When I read for these camshafts online, it's written 110, the center line. We have 4 degrees difference. Then, I mean, if this, they're adjusting to put the center line 110 degrees, but this is all about the intake manifold, the exhaust manifold, the turbo, the setup of the car. It might work better, let us say, at 114 than at 110. In any case, this was the lobe from the cylinder number 1 B, lobe B, this one. I put here the lifter. Here there is no, all right? And now on the number 6, the A. Number 6 cylinder, intake A. All right. Now what I have here, intake valves open at 8.5 degrees before top dead center, closes 1 millimeter lift at 59 degrees after bottom dead center. And the center line is at 111.5 degrees after top dead center. Yep, this giving duration 245 degrees at 1 millimeter lift, and this gives duration 247.5 degrees duration at 1 millimeter lift. Yep, but again, it's not showing anything. This is the closest point that is gonna come the valve to the piston, all right? I mean, if I go backwards, you're gonna see, I'm not going backwards, but just for the video. If I go front, you're gonna see that this is that's the closest point that it can reach. And if I push it down, like I said, there is a room. This, what you see over there, it's this one. The cut relief that has. By the way, I get the number 6 connector, I put on the number 6, and I get the number 1, I put on the number 1. I didn't mix it up, I didn't mismatch, yeah, two. So clearly there is plenty of room. Now, this makes me wondering, is it a valve floating? I mean, maybe are the springs, because definitely with all the space that has here, I mean, let me turn on the light. There's no way. Take a look how much space it has. There it's touching. It's plenty of clearance. We are talking about more than 10 millimeters. And we are talking about the intake valve. Makes you wondering how in hell it bent the valves. And there is no any sign that it hit somewhere. The number 11, the number 12. The only thing that's remaining is the valve springs. It's not the connecting, it's not the piston, because I measure it, I get the compression height of the piston, it's exactly the same like the rest. I get the measurement from the connecting rod, it's exactly the same like the rest. Oh boy, let me turn off the camera. Now I have to strip off everything again. Finally they brought me the crankshaft. They said that they polish it. Yeah, we're gonna see about that. I need to wash it first, then measure it, measure also down. I'm gonna strip off everything. Like I said before, I'm not touching the gears, since the unit where it is right now, and I don't see once again. They might say to you, you might get some camshafts, and it says to you, put the center line 110 degrees, example. All right, or opening 7.5 degrees and closing 57 after bottom dead center, as an example. You can play, you can see how much clearance you have, and you can play a little bit to adjust it as you want with your setup. It's not for a daily use. If it was for daily use, you're gonna put on numbers when they're saying to you, and you're gonna call it a day. But not for this application. Now, screw it now. I was expecting to see some difference, on the lobe. I didn't show any difference. There is a small difference for me at least. There are 2.5 degrees difference. Okay. This is 8.5 before the dead center. You're adding 180 degrees, and then you're adding 59 degrees because after bottom dead center, and then it comes the duration at 1 millimeter lift. Same thing there up. Yep. Nothing to see here. Valve springs. If I had the valve spring tester, it's gonna be helpful. It's gonna be nice. And I need to check also the clearance. Now, okay, what did I get? The valve. Like I said, I get the valve number 8, and I get the pocket 6A that I put here. So it's not the correct one. You're gonna tell me the other one's bent. How you gonna check the clearance? Yes, but again, once again, even if it's tight, if let us say, as an example, let us say that this is completely out, all right, and it's pushing the valve down by 1/10 of a millimeter. Yeah, like I said before, see how much space you have. See how much space it has. It's impossible to touch. Impossible to touch, literally. My only headache is gonna be now with these valves. I wanna see what height and what kind of clearance it's giving to me. Yay, lovely. Screw it. You know what? I'm gonna upload this video just for my friend to see that. I want to repeat that again, and I can do it even with the when I'm gonna mount the valve springs on it, the normal one. I can do that again because it doesn't have hydraulic lifters. It's gonna be a bit more headache, but again, yeah, it is what it is. I have to lock the tension, I have to remove the wheel degree, I have to go a little bit backwards. I'm locking it with this one. Yay, it's working. As soon as it's working, you have to enter it here inside, and you have to compress the tensioner. Classic. How much the compressor ratio? It's not a dynamic because there is no variable. So what you're doing, it closes 59 degrees after bottom dead center. That means 180 minus 59. Then you're gonna see. Just a second. Yeah, okay, never mind. If the connector is 142 millimeter length, so at 121 degrees that's remaining to compress. 59. 121 is remaining to compress. That means it's at 70 millimeters the piston. That means compressing 411 cubic centimeters out of a 505.3. So now I have to check the piston, how much the volume, the combustion chamber, the head gasket, and then to find the ratio. That's okay. If let us say at 505, as an example, has 9:1, example, with 411, you're gonna have something like 6:7:1 compressor ratio. Yeah. Now, that's not the static. You can call it static because now it does have a variable, this one. Yeah, okay. This is the event when it's closing, how much compressing the valve inside of the cylinder. So, like I said, let me finalize the video. It's not the clearance between the valve and the piston, it's not the lobe, all right? It might be the valve spring, that's the only thing that's remaining. That's the only thing what's remaining, and need to be calculated how to calculate the you need to calculate the area of the valve, the boost that you apply, and the pressure that has the valve, the valve spring. The thing is, why to happen on the number 11, number 12? What's the reason? The seams that has down the washers, it was okay, didn't have any problem. Oh boy. Yeah. Can it be always if you have inline 6 and you have an intake manifold, the classic one that the throttle is here and then it's been concentrated much more on the number 5 and number 6 cylinder. I'm talking about the flow, I'm not talking about the pressure. Pressure is equal in all of them, in all of the cylinders. How much pressure you can have the number 1, you can have also the number 6. The thing is the flow. That's the thing. But it's running also twin turbo. No, it doesn't have nothing to do with that. It might be to have a different back pressure. So what? To have a different back pressure, these 3 cylinders, but again, it happened only on the number 6. It didn't happen on the number 1, 2, and 3. On the 4 and the 5. It's twin turbo setup. Oh boy. Yeah. Never mind. Let me strip it off. Let me strip it off. If it comes something to my mind, we're gonna see. Let me move the camera. Keep it here. Keep it here. Let's make it again. There you go. Yep, and yep, that's how it was. Yeah, here there is no lifter. There's only one here and another one there. That's it, over and out. Let me put the parts back in place. I'm not gonna be able to mix up the lifters, right? No, it's a 6A, I get it from 6A. 1B, I took it from 1B, yeah. The valve, the number 2 valve, I took it from the number 2 position from there. This one didn't get the bent one. I get the number 9, like I said, fine, yes, okay. Let me take care about all this mess. And strip it off again. Wash it again. Remove the oil pump. Put it over there. And check the crankshaft for the clearance actually. Yeah, that's the next thing. Crankshaft. That's it for now. Thank you. By the way, just don't forget, I am gonna check also the exhaust, not only the intake. I'm gonna check also the exhaust with the same way. There is nothing wrong with the exhaust. I just wanna see in which position it is. I'm gonna put also the B1 here and the 6A here to get 2 measurements. Where's the center line, when it's opening, when it's closes, and stuff like that. Yep. If I play with the gears and I change it, then I have to change also the tune of the car. That's the reason why I said, okay, if it's not way off, there might be a reason. Maybe the degree with this way, that's working much better. All right, enough. Moving on. Thank you.